It's like being in a club every week.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, Mr. Ezra?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I am very, very good. It has been an exciting week, and it should only get even more exciting. We've got the
Oh,
Capitola Con next weekend. Woohoo!
woo!
For those that are not that don't remember or may not be in the area, Capitola Con will be next weekend, right next to the lovely Santa Cruz. What's up, Jim? And Ike, the winner of last week's Saber contest. Woohoo! But yeah, Capitola Con, there are going to be 5 of the 6 living Boba Fett's will be there. So everybody but Tamora Morrison will be there. And this is the first time in history that they've had this many Fets in one location. Michaela, I just tried messaging you, but something went crazy on my messenger. So I'm happy you're here. Hello there. Say Wong, thank you for tuning in. And Mr. Kevin. Looks like we got a happy whole family here. And this week, we got our merchandise in. Woohoo! Oh, so our director Ezra there is just going to show you some of the designs that we got. Now we bought a bunch of these. Show that one up closer.
And 1 second, trying to.
We bought like 60 of these, I think, in various colors, specifically for the Capitola Con this weekend because of the Boba Fett's that are going to be there.
And
so you can get.
Go ahead.
Now you can get those autographed. They are absolutely gorgeous. And when you put the blade in, of course, and it lights up, it makes the T shape on the Mandalore mask look really good.
Oh, it's too bright for us to see it.
Yeah, you don't have a blade back there? Hey,
no, it's by my front door.
Oh, can you run a blade back to Ezra?
Can you grab my blade right there by the door?
Oh, never mind, Zayo. Oh, Michaela says they're beautiful. Yes, these things are perfect for social distancing. So when you're at a con, you can say, back up 6 feet.
Something that's even better about each one of these sabers is every single saber has smooth swings.
Yes, we actually they had different levels of them, and the lowest level doesn't have the smooth swing. This is the mid-level, the highest level being the NeoPixel. And we were surprised when we bought just the basic saber, it came with the
smooth swing.
With the smooth swing. Do you have the box there too? Show them the box, because the box is nice too. It comes in a nice little box, foam. It's got foam inserts in there, your instructions, Allen keys, all kinds of nice little retention screws, right? So Kevin is asking what smooth swing is. That's a really good question, and I apologize. I often forget. Not everybody knows all the terminology, but so show them what smooth swing is.
Smooth swing is whenever you swing it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Where it kind of like tracks the saber. Whereas if you were to get other kinds of sabers where, let's say, like just a basic
just a regular saber would not have smooth swing, yes. Meaning that when you made the swing, let's say the sound font clip is a half a second, it's going to make that whole sound regardless. This, hold it up into the screen again. Wherever you move, wherever you stop, the saber sound stops. So do a big swing and then a small swing. Yeah, it's a little hard to tell on camera. You'll be able to tell. Oh, there you go. You hear how it kind of makes a growl sound as he moves it. Smooth swing means it's gonna, yeah. I didn't want to say Ultra Sabers, but Ultra Sabers. Yes. Jim is correct. So smooth swing, when you move the saber and stop it, the sound stops at that exact time. Whereas regular sound saber, the sound just goes all the way through regardless of your swing. Also, so all of the sabers that we are giving away, all of the basic sabers that you can buy on our site come with the smooth swing automatically. The nice box, the taxes already included. Over them. And what do those have? We didn't figure out the number of fonts on there, but I know there's at least 9 fonts on there.
Yes.
11 colors, flash on crash, blaster sounds, rechargeable, mute. There we go. That one
this one's kind of hard to tell with the glare of the screen.
is that the
this
gold?
Yes, this is gold, but it's more of a rose gold.
Ooh.
And it's still.
In fact, you have one of the gold Mandalores there, right?
No, I couldn't find one. It's still
do you have any gold saber over there?
This one's the gold one.
I thought you just said that was rose.
It is a rose gold, but it's this is.
Do you have any regular gold over there?
Let me see.
What I'm trying to do is compare the two colors because it's a little hard to see on screen.
No, I do not.
All right. Yeah. So this is more of a rose gold color, and that one actually hold that one back up again.
Oh, I do have a gold.
Oh, okay.
Let me open the box. Oh, and one thing we do want to say is every saber that is ordered on our site, we do check them. We will personally check every single saber that we send off.
Yes, they are quality controlled. So these aren't like drop shipped from like China or something. They come to Kyber Cave. We quality inspect them. And actually, interestingly, we have a file. So anytime you make a purchase at Kyber Cave, your name goes into a special file so that anytime you make another purchase, we can pull up your file and see when you bought things, what you bought, and who did the quality control on your saber. So so right there, the one in Ezra's left hand, that one is the Crusader. And then which one do you have there in the right? Do you remember the name of that one?
Not off the top of my head.
We're still learning the names.
We're still learning the names of every saber.
But the Crusader, hold the Crusader back up. That is okay. So interestingly, on our website, we have two of the Revan inspired sabers, and this is so similar to one of the Revan sabers, but it's not. So it's one of the more low end ones. So we have the high end Revan NeoPixel, but this one is a lot more inexpensive and looks very similar to the Revan. And we have that in multiple colors as well.
Yes. And this one.
Woohoo, there's so many comments going up.
Still super beautiful. And this one, again, is like a rose gold color.
Ooh. Make sure to do an external charge on the battery to make sure they're going out with a minimum charge so the battery doesn't lose charge to the
point of no return. Actually, a good thing about these sabers is they have a sleep mode. You have to
hold
for 4 seconds.
Zia James from China is online right now. That is one of our sponsors. Try gesture ignition.
I didn't press the button. I didn't know I could do that.
Thank you, TXQ Sabers. They are the sponsor of our show. So gesture ignition. Obviously, we just got these sabers in. We have a lot to learn.
The button's up here. My hand's down here. Where is it?
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Thank you, TXQ.
Yeah. So I want to show off the saber that we are giving out. Well, tonight you have the one we're giving out tonight, right?
No, you have the one we're giving out tonight.
The Talon. Aren't we announcing the Talon tonight?
Yes, we are giving away the Talon. I gave that to you.
Oh, I have the Talon? Okay.
Yes.
And really quick, shoot, there was a name. We were going to make sure that we had everybody on the spin wheel. Do you have that ready, Ezra?
Yes, let me.
James Kaiser is in the house.
What's up,
I do not. I have the load. I have the Lotus, and I have the I don't
know if you guys just heard that, but that one just activated sleep mode.
Right. So so that's what Ezra was saying earlier before we got all excited about the gesture control. There is a sleep mode on there. So even if you forget to turn off your saber, it's gonna turn itself off. Ike, you can win again in 3 months. If you enter tonight, because you won last week, you can win a secondary prize, which would be like a shirt or some saber chopsticks or something like that. And Michaela says she has 3 entries. So yes, we are very excited. This week we are giving away the Talon. Apparently none of us have it right now.
I thought you had it. It's on the couch.
I don't have it, dude. But let me show you off that. Let me show you what we are giving away this week. So
I do have a picture of the talent if you want me to throw that up.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that up. There we go. So tonight we will be announcing who gets to take this bad boy home. And why don't you pull up that wheel, Ezra?
Yes,
If you have it.
That is loading up right now.
Okay. I want to make sure the name William Kimbrell is on there because they did message us like directly before the show.
That is not on there. I can tell you that for a fact.
Okay. Well, we will get that added on and William will be excited. Strangely, not a lot of people entered this week, right?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I saw Michaela. I know Phoenix entered. I put Yoda down because he said he did 2 entries last week, but we only got him for 1.
Does Michaela have 3 entries?
Michaela has 3, yes.
Woohoo! Sounds like Michaela's trying to get herself a lightsaber. So what we're doing, because we've been having some challenges with people tagging different pages, we want to make sure we want to put the wheel up early. If you did everything you were supposed to do but do not see your name on that wheel, please PM us or DM us right now and we will get your name added to the wheel. And at the end of the show tonight, we will be announcing who gets that saber. And all the sabers are here, so you will get it probably by the end of the week. Just like Ike, I got to talk to Ike, and we got to get Ike taken care of. But Ike's saber is going out here on Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
Are you trying to pull up the
way
thing?
To see the names? Yes, it should be pulling up right now.
Okay, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to show off this. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. So we're going to take a quick second. We're going to hold it here for a second. I want you to look for your name. If you feel like you have entered for this week, but you don't see your name on there, please message Kyber Cave directly. Message Kyber Cave on Facebook right now and screenshot us where you reposted that, and we will get you entered in on that. Aiden, the only requirements, you have to subscribe to our YouTube and or our Twitch. Like this show, make a comment, which you've already done, so you fulfilled that, and then reshare this show and send us a picture, a screenshot of you sharing that. So if you shared it on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you shared our show, send us a screenshot to our DMs and you were entered in there. And if you have multiple accounts, if you have 2 YouTube accounts and 2 Twitch accounts, that means you can enter 4 times a week. But this week,
and I do want to say, if you enter tonight trying to get onto this raffle, you'll be entered for next week's raffle. The raffle for this week closed on Friday.
Every Friday at 9 p.m.
Yes.
So
when Kyber
we do this
show goes live, the raffle ends.
Exactly. So we do this show every Sunday at 7 p.m. You have all the way until Friday at 9 p.m. to subscribe, like, comment, and repost. And then you are entered for that week's drawing. But we're giving one away every week thanks to our sponsor, TXQ. And this bad boy, I'm going to keep it wrapped in the plastic so it goes nice. All right, can we take that off? Pull me up, Ez. This is a hefty, chunky boy. This is what we will be giving out this week, and I know several people are excited for this one already. We are right now, we're going to rename this. I think we're going to call it the Emmett Saber. I think we're going to go with that. But this, as you can tell, is inspired by a Lego piece. So if you're like Steve Melton out in Florida and you're doing a Lego Kylo Ren, you can, or any Lego character piece, you can win that saber. So we will be giving that out this week. And I just got to show off really quickly because this is the fan favorite, right? This is what we're giving out the week after. So next week we have this lovely, oh crap, it's all sealed up. I really don't want to take it out. This is what's called the Lotus. Oh, I really don't want to take it out the plastic.
I got you.
Oh, wait, you have a photograph. Ah, there we go. That's going to be the next one. So we're giving away a saber every week. Thank you to TXQ as our official sponsor. And thank you for tuning in and helping spread the Kyber Cave love. All right, dude, I've been talking way too long. I think we should get directly into
Yes, it has been
our
15 minutes already.
I know, dude. That's how we roll. Kyber Cave. A lot of people love the Lotus, Michaela. It's a very popular one. Look like odds are pretty good for entrance. Yeah, odds are excellent. I mean, that's a $270 saber. So, what was that? 1 in 10, only like less than 10 people tried to enter last week. So you really have no reason not to try. All right.
Wow,
So
I'm lagging so much right now.
In fact, our fantastic, wonderful producer, Mr. James Kaiser, is the one that's commenting right now. He is the wonderful producer of this next segment and brings us a fantastic flow artist every week from somewhere around the world, or sometimes it's him. But I mean, he's still around the world too. He's actually a state away from us. All right. Do you have that ready to rock? Do you want to introduce our artist for tonight, Ez?
Yes. Sorry, I did not click that. I'm going to stop hovering over them. It keeps clicking them. Our wonderful artist for tonight is Darth Morbidius. And he is from, I believe, New Zealand? I'm not entirely sure on that.
I thought it was Amsterdam.
Is it Amsterdam?
Yeah, those are two completely wrong sides of the planet, but
it's one of the two.
James, is it Amsterdam or New Zealand? James would know. He's the one that brings them to us.
But he is also collaborating with another flow artist. I'm not sure this flow artist's name. That was not sent to me. So,
okay.
But let's see it.
Okay, Mr. Ezra. Oh, sorry, yes. You're on mute. Mr. Ezra, I'm gonna say, judging by the snow, that it's not New Zealand.
Well, the second flow artist was the one in the snow. The first one, he was in the forest.
So that was the compilation, was for tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, I wonder who that second person was. Other flow artist of the vid goes by Saber Woo. See, that's why we love James. Saber Woo, and Darth Morbidius in the house. Saber collaboration. Boom! There we go. That's how we roll.
Yes.
All
I
right.
I do want to say, Ike is a wonderful person. He just messaged the Kyber Cave saying that he should be entered in tonight. That he did it. He sent me the thing and everything. But he said if he wins, he's going to be giving it to Michaela Cash.
Wow. Well, Michaela's got more entries in this week than anybody else, so I think she's got pretty good.
She has pretty good odds.
And like Ike too. So the day that I messaged Ike that he won this saber, he was waiting for another saber he had ordered from Saber Trio. So dude, Ike has had the week, dude. It is like it's raining sabers.
It's raining.
Neither is from New Zealand. Okay. It could have been Minnesota. We got snow.
Minnesota.
Hey, there is
Hey.
William there. William, we do have you in for this week. Don't worry. All right. So I want to go ahead and get to this interview because we are 5 minutes over and he's probably like backstage wondering if he'll ever get in here. David, thank you for tuning in. David is one of our local fighters. Absolutely love that guy. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this interview because I hate to leave people waiting backstage. I just will talk all night long.
Yes, you will.
Oh, and before we do, I want to say one more thing. If you did not win a saber, you can always go to our website. We are selling these sabers. And in fact, if you've been a Kyber Cave customer before, you'll notice that we've had a pretty good price drop since we were able to team up with TXQ. So we thank TXQ very much. They are the sponsor for this show. And those are the sabers that we are selling. And because we were able to get a good price, we passed that price on to our customers.
Van.
4 sabers. What the?
I wish I had that kind of money.
All right, this
damn.
week. How many you got coming in next week? All right. So our interview tonight, I got to say, tonight is for me. Tonight is a present for me. I'm gifting myself. This is an artist that I've seen online. I've seen it a couple of times, and I had to comment. This man does incredible painting, incredible drawing artwork, but he has a character in particular that I absolutely love, and a crossover that happens to be something I'm very I have an affinity for. He does a Marvin the Mandalorian, and for those of you that may or may not know, that is the cosplay that I am working on right now. I have my bucket about 80% done, but
Just need a brush.
Yeah, I need my brush and I need the little visor thing, and then I'll be ready to go. So with no further ado, please give it up for our beautiful, incredible artist tonight, Mr. Ben Olson. Woohoo! What is going on, Mr. Ben?
Thank you for having me.
Oh man, can you really draw that fast?
No.
Your work is absolutely incredible. This is obviously not something you started during the pandemic.
It's been going on. You can see the gray in my beard. It's been going on for a little while.
How long have you? Did you just always grow up an artist, or?
So since I was 5, right, I draw whatever, right? My parents would give me whatever to do stuff for. So it's been a thing for as long as I can remember.
Beautiful, beautiful. And did you have anything like in particular? Like, okay, so obviously the reason that I was attracted to your work at first was all the Marvin, but you do have a really big. And Marvin's not the only character you do. Were you drawing like cartoon characters when you were young? Were you drawing Star Wars? Were you making up your own things?
D, all of the above. So it was I wanted to be an animator for Disney since I was like 10. Wow. And so I was drawing Disney, Marvel, DC, you name it, right? Until I met an animator when they used to do these tours, these mall tours, right? And you're a state away from me. So up here we would go like to one of the malls and they would do their whatever Disney film was coming out. And I told the guy I was 15 or 16 or something. I'm like, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, I can draw all the characters that you guys draw. And he's like, well, how good are you at life drawing? And I'm like, and I'm like, how good do I need to be? He's like, you need to be really good at that. And I'm like, okay. So it went in from cartoons and then just kind of expanded to that, like when I got into college. So, but yeah, man, everything. Good night. Had my own stuff, drew everybody else's stuff. Right. Yeah.
What is your focus these days? Because I only know you from your work that's the crossover stuff here that we've seen. But I mean, do you do like portrait style or oil? I mean, are you very versatile, or are you more into the playful stuff?
Both. So what's cool is I work in a whole bunch of different mediums: ink, marker, colored pencil, oil paint, acrylic paint, watercolor, spray paint, whatever. Right. And I've got a contract with Chuck Jones Galleries. So Chuck Jones being Chuck Jones, right? The creator of Marvin the Martian.
Right.
Wait, that way. Right. And stuff like that. And awesome, wonderful people. And so I've got a contract with those guys to do fine art.
Wow.
And so I do Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera. And
so are you doing cells, or would you do like art for a book or something? What kind of work do you do for them?
So I just did a 70th anniversary piece for Mark Anthony and Kitty, or Mark Anthony really, right? And so it's Mark Anthony's 70th anniversary. So I did the key painting for that, and then they sell limiteds and do all that other kind of good stuff. So really it's across the board. And what you came in on and what we both nerd out on the same stuff in is this whole like crossover Marvin, Boba Fett, Bugs, Mandalorian, all that jazz.
Right.
And they kind of give me, they let me off the leash, man. And I'll just do stuff. And especially because it's like stuff I love doing. And George Lucas, what credits in ways Chuck Jones, he has openly with being inspired by him and his stuff. So like, let's just put those two worlds together. Wow. So I do all kinds of stuff for those guys. I do traditional Looney Tunes stuff, Hanna-Barbera, and then I'll go mashup crazy.
That's incredible. Ezra, make sure to get those comments up there because I see some comments piling up here on the side. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer when you're given an assignment, when they come to you and they say, okay, we want a picture of Bugs and this is going to be for a certain type of ceremony where you're given a lot of direction, or do you like just to kind of come up with your own thing and let your imagination go?
So what's cool is, and first of all, Rob has the greatest dreads ever. And since I don't have a whole lot left, Moody is awesome. I love Rob. So they usually what they'll do is they'll say, hey, we're like for the Mark Anthony piece, right? They'll be like, hey, it's Mark Anthony's 70th. So, we want you to do something that's not what one of the other artists has done or what Chuck has done. But like do your thing, right? Tell your story with it. And then that's it. And then go nuts. And then I'll do a concept sketch and I'll submit that. And this time I did 4 concept sketches because they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, oh, what about this? And why is this? And then I change it. And then I do another one. And then by the 4th one, right. I got it. So, and then they're like, all right, go to paint. And then I'll go to paint. So that's my process with those guys. They'll usually come to me saying, we've got something. They'll give me a little bit of direction, but for the most part, they let me run with it. I'm heavily obviously inspired and influenced by Chuck Jones.
Right.
And so I like to take his sense of humor and thinking and then just apply my own storyline to it. And that's where all this other stuff comes from. So it's a great relationship with those guys.
Oh my God. How does that feel? Like, I feel like, it'd be like if I told you I was working for Lucasfilm, you know what I mean? Like, how does it feel to admire something and want something as a child? And now you are part of the studio that kind of got you started in this direction, right?
Man, I'll tell you, when I like you and I, right, we grow up on the classic Looney Tunes stuff, right?
Right.
And you've got that humor on a Saturday morning. I got my Lucky Charms, right?
Right.
And
these kids will never know about the big bowl of cereals.
No. And not the little bowl, right? Mom's mixing bowl of cereal.
Right.
With a half gallon of milk. Right. And the spoon, we didn't use the little spoon.
The big spoon.
Yeah. The big, right. And so, you're sitting down, you're watching cartoons. And I always gravitated more to the Chuck Jones, not necessarily the Rob McKinson, stuff or Bob Clampett. But there was something about Chuck's cartoons and his films. The writing dude was hilarious. So as a kid, I'm laughing. As I grow up, I'm laughing even harder because I'm catching all the stuff I didn't know about when I was a kid.
Right.
And so to be like the family is great. I know his daughter, Linda, well. I know his grandson, Craig, is a good friend of mine. And those are, and I've gotten to touch his supplies and like I've gotten into the archives on stuff. Like
that's like touching history.
I've got paper like from his desk and they gave me a pad of it and I selectively will write thank yous and stuff on that and then send it out. So yes, Captain Crunch, but the oops berries with the oops berries.
So ripping up the top of the roof of your mouth.
Right, yeah. Soggy. Remember the soggies and the little So getting into like that and being able to do that now, like I'm 42 and right. Doing this for about 7 years, but I've been doing it a lot more for the last 2 years and it's just exploded. So I'm living that childhood fantasy dream. Like the fact that I didn't go into animation and I did design and other stuff, and I'm coming back into this at the age that I'm at now after going through, however many years of running my own business and stuff like that.
Right.
I feel eternally blessed on this. And dude, it's like a play day all the time. Like I'm playing with the characters I grew up loving.
Right. You're never too old to dream, huh?
No, never let that die. Keep going. Yes. You can be 8 years old.
Does this open you up? I mean, so you have a contract with them, but do you still do kind of your own projects, or do you have your own, I don't know, book of work or kind of a studio or anything like that? Or is it primarily work for other people?
So I've got 3 aspects to what I do. I've been running a design creative agency for 15 years. So it's my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the bicentennial logo for the state of Illinois. I've done stuff for like corporate design work and that kind of jazz, which I love doing. It's a lot of fun. Right. And then I've got a nonprofit, which I host the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity Chicagoland. And I go out to baseball. I got jerseys that I designed with all the Looney Tunes characters for the Bulls, the Windy City Bulls, which are the G League team for the Bulls. We've done 2 events now. And so like all kinds of stuff for that. And then I've got the fine art. And the fine art through COVID is what blew up because a lot of the restrictions and the lockdowns just pummeled my design business because we do a lot of events. So to take it, and then the fine art stuff just started going, and I was doing more of this, and I'm like, okay. And the more I put in and the more I was doing, and I ended up, just kind of exploring more, and it just kind of went bananas. So I love this. It's a blast, man. And I'm not joking, more art in the last 2 years than I have probably in the last 15.
Wow. How's your family about this? I mean, this seems like a huge life change.
So
well, maybe not so much of a life change, but it seemed like maybe I don't know, you were a little more independent before. Now you're working more with contracts.
No.
I guess that's not true too, because you were doing corporate work. Okay, I'm just gonna shut up and let you talk.
No, it's all really the same. I treat it as, even the fine art stuff, I treat it as a client project. So I book it, I slate it, I give myself, I know what deadlines are, I've got to hit certain things.
Right.
So I think doing the design and the corporate stuff helped me in developing a habit with
like a work ethic.
A work ethic, big time, and so what you got to hit, how do you got to deliver? And then thinking, because really the most important part, we different mediums, dude, it's this. This is the most important creative tool we have. It's right between these 2 fingers. And so to be able to think, and Chuck was huge on that, creative thinking, and then let it come out in your creative disciplines. That was huge. So.
Right. And okay, so when you were younger, you were talking about wanting to animate and stuff like that. Do you think, you're doing a lot of the fine art now, but would you be interested in writing for a cartoon as well?
So funny enough, I got more into writing and didn't realize that I would like that as much. I've illustration, design, all that kind of stuff. Man, and there's some great writers out there that were artists that started getting into writing. I think of even some of the Pixar guys like Andrew Stanton and stuff like that. That's in Pete Docter writing their own things, and they were animators to start. Scotty Young, who's one of my favorite comic artists, and and writers, and what he does, same thing. Right. So I've gotten more into it. I'm doing my own thing, in writing. Like I write animated stuff, or I write scripts and I write pitches for clients. Right. I'm doing my own thing right now with my own IP, that is going to take me forever, but I'm doing, and I'm finding a lot of joy in that, which I didn't realize before.
Wow. So it seems like you just have this creative explosion that's happening. You just can't get it all in one place. You're a jack of all trades. You're all over the place.
And you know what I realized? Yes, I don't regret not going into animation, because when I went to school for that and all that, I don't regret not getting into it, because I realize now, if I was a one-note creative and animation was it, dude, I'd be bored out of my mind. I would be bored out of my mind. And look at the stuff I'm getting to play with. So I actually would much rather be there goes to show you the path that we think we have for ourselves. He has something different in mind. And I feel totally satisfied, dude, because different stuff pops all the time.
Right. And does this, it seems like, getting in, especially, being able to say that, you do work for Chuck Jones, it seems like it opens other doors and opportunities for you, especially if you can put that in your portfolio and it's not just a drawing you did, but it's actually, a poster that was used, on the Warner Brother lot or something like that.
No, yeah, it's been very cool to see how just relationships have spawned. I'm more of a long-term relationship thinker, so it's not what I can get out of somebody now. It's like what I can do for somebody. And then if something reciprocates, great, but that's not my main focus. And this has opened up more doors to do that. And so I've been able to spread that out. And then I've seen things come back and pop, obviously grateful for it. Not my main focus, but it's been cool to see that reciprocate in ways that I wouldn't have. Dude, if you would have told me like even 10 years ago, like, hey, you're going to be doing this, I'm like, no, and then it's like, so yeah.
What has been for you in this journey? What's been the most, like, I don't know, the thing that kind of caught you off guard or took you by surprise, that or maybe you just weren't prepared at that moment for it when it came along?
So I in the design world of things, right? I look for opportunities, and running your own shop too. You got to hunt it, clean it, kill it, eat it, right? I'd say like the shift to fine art after 2020 hit, and kind of watching while one thing slowed down. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so you pivot, right? I don't quit, I just pivot. And as the fine art thing started, which I didn't pay a ton of attention to, I do a piece every now and then, but it started to pop, 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 pop. And I remember doing an interview with this one dude. Rob knows this dude, right? This guy's name's Fabio Napoleone, one of the coolest guys I've ever met. And finally got to meet him in person last week. So we've done a few shows, and I like 20 minutes. So the gallery was like, hey, could you host some shows for other artists? And I'm like, yeah, all right. I love doing it. So it's like artist interviewing artist, right? And I ended up interviewing this guy, Fabio. And this dude's got just a killer story, right? Unbelievable stuff that he does, and everything that's put into his piece, everything's intentional. And I remember, and I was just starting out the fine art thing, like as a thing. I'm like, okay, well, if that's not making a living right now, and this is starting to, let's start putting this into it also. Right. And I remember like he followed me the next day on Instagram, and I was like, and you're like, follow back. And so I thought that was cool. And what I found is, and it's been very heartening, is a lot of these guys who are big, and Fabio's big, they are down to earth, normal guys, right? There's no ego in it, right? It's not all about me, and I'm not like, I only take the blue M&Ms. Why is there a orange peanut M&M in the milk chocolate blues, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so I think for me, the biggest twist was when people started purchasing my stuff, right? Collecting my art. So they were collecting my pieces, and then they would ask for like, oh, dude, could you sign the whatever, or could you do this? And I was like, sure. And because I'm not used to the fine art world, in that I'm used to design. And so for me to express myself in these pieces and do stuff I love doing, I collect art from a whole bunch of other people. I got a whole library that's full of art from, guys that I know, guys that I don't know. But I think that was the biggest kind of like shocker to me, and something to be like, oh, dude, really? Like, because I like it, and I ask other, they're like, we'll sign whatever you want. And then for them to ask me for that, in my 40s, it's kind of like being a kid. It's very humbling, because I feel very honored that someone would, for one, collect something of mine, right? And then two, be like, hey, could you do this?
Right.
Like, sure. Yeah.
Fanboy.
Yeah. I'm a fanboy, dude. I fanboy out all the time on stuff. And I'm fanboying out on your whole lightsaber thing. I'm like, man, I need another one of those. But I think that was the biggest shock of this whole thing, in a good way. It was just kind of like, oh, and it's something I never want to get used to, and I don't think I ever will. So it's been a blessing, man.
So you're in Nevada, Utah, what state are you in?
Illinois.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
But not for long. I'm going to this. I'm moving to Florida here in a couple months.
Woohoo! So the Chuck Jones, are they in LA?
Yeah, they're in Orange County.
Orange County. Okay. So my question is then, like, okay, they ask you to do work. Obviously, with technology, we can send everything by email. That's not a big deal. But do you ever get to see your work? Like, have you ever walked into a mall, into a bookstore, and all of a sudden your poster, something that you had done was there? Or is it more like kind of corporate stuff that they have that you don't really get to see, your work being presented?
Usually it's galleries. So I'll walk into a gallery and specifically even their galleries, and then I'll see my stuff up, and that's a trip.
Wow. That's got to be weird seeing your stuff next to, these absolute legends.
Dude, I'm like, are you sure you want that there and not maybe the bathroom wall? Or does that go in the kitchen? I'm not sure.
Wow, this is incredible. Hey, well, while we're at it, because I know people are absolutely excited about your artwork here, Ezra, can we throw up a couple of photos and maybe you can talk to us about some of these? This is just gorgeous.
So
go ahead.
No, yeah. When Book of Boba Fett came out, right? For one, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. My son. So you actually answered my son's question, Aiden, when he was like, "How do I get in this for a lightsaber?"
All right, very cool.
Right, and he's texting me, and I'm like, all right, son. I'm like, you gotta. I don't know. I'm sure they're gonna explain it. So we're big Star Wars nerds, and I'm obviously a huge Looney Tunes nerd. And there was something about when the Book of Boba Fett came out, and I watched that first episode, and I'm like, dude. and so I'm like, I think that I could totally design a Marvin as Boba Fett. And initially, the first piece I had was this sketch that I did for Inktober, and
right.
it was a prompt, and I called it the Book of Marvin Fett, and it was just him, but it didn't. He was sitting on Boba's throne, but he didn't have like the design of the mashup design. And so I'm like, I could totally pull that off. And
right.
so I did, and I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one sketch of whatever the scene is, and I think it was him, Porky as one of the Gamorreans, and they're in the bar, and I forget what the droid's name is, and he's serving a drink. That's Chef Table, right? Because she's dating that. They're furry,
Right. Utini.
Yeah, exactly. She's dating that Jawa, and so that's my hollow hibachi table. But so I put that stuff out there, and then I posted it, and it got a lot of really great reactions. That's the one. So that was the first one of this series.
So fantastic. I love the mouse droid.
Right? I'm like, I gotta pull something in here from original trilogy. I pulled this off, and I'm like, all right, I think I could do two per episode, and whatever I'm feeling, right? So that scene when they're in there with Flashdance Girl as the Twilight, who I have a huge crush on, and I'm like,
from Flashdance,
that girl.
I can't remember her name. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking right now. But yeah, as soon as I was like, oh my god, how Jennifer Beal?
That's it.
How does that woman look that good? Like she's got to be like 112 by now.
And I don't know if it's like my son drinks aloe vera water. Is that what it is? I don't know, but it's something. So when you get to these scenes like the Rancor and like these two, and there were certain characters that I'm like, oh, that could totally be that. So Black Chrysanthemum was totally a Gossam. I'm like, that too good. And so I was just developing this thing, and as I would do more sketches, and then ink and marker, I was doing 9x12s or 11x14s, and I was posting them in Instagram, and it was getting a lot of great reactions, and I kept going because I loved it, and so it kind of turned into this thing where I had a series of 15 drawings. I love this scene when he comes riding in, and I'm like, okay, I need a. He's going to throw down. There's attitude about it, and the two of them just seem to click. So
I love that bantha too.
Dude,
it's so funny because we have friends of the show. One of the Jawas from A New Hope, Tim Donaldson. He was one of the original Jawas. He's a friend of the show, and Alan Fernandez, who was one of the original Sand people. He was the Sand person who rode the bantha. Yeah. I'm hoping they're watching.
I'm gonna nerd out on that. Yeah, I have to watch. I'm have them on. I'll fanboy and go nuts. So
we have them on our past episodes. You can watch our past interviews with them.
I'm going for the whole thing. And so every time like an episode, there was something I wanted to pull out, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to spoil anything necessarily. So thank you, William. I appreciate that.
How long is each of these? I mean, I know that nothing's exactly the same, but is this a night's work for you? Is this 2 hours work for you? Is this how long would it take for you to do a picture like this? Oh my God, that's fantastic!
All right, so on this one, specifically, first of all, there's a Spaceballs reference. Can you spot the Spaceballs reference?
I see it. I don't want to give it away. But wait. I want to see if anybody picks it up in the comments.
And
The first person to make a comment to the Spaceball reference, we'll give him a Kyber Cave t-shirt. Because I see it, and I don't want to spoil it.
And why is it that one? Yes.
Oh, why now? I have to figure out why.
Right there.
Kristen got it.
She got
Kristen, you win a Kyber Cave t-shirt.
So the reason why it's the pick, right, in this, and again, comb the desert, right? But the smallest one is where like, we ain't found blank, right?
Right.
And when he's looking in that Sarlacc pit, he did not find his armor, which is why I put the small pick in there, because he didn't find anything. So there was my Spaceballs tie-in. So yeah, it was dude, I like these would take a few hours.
Wow. Okay. And that's coloring, and because I assume you start in black and white and then go back in color.
No, so actually I'll start. I got a non-photo blue pencil, and I'll do all my stuff in that, and then I'll do ink over that, and then I'll go over with marker. So this one was the first. I did it for Inktober. And I forget what the prompt was. It was something. And I'm like, all right. I can have Bugs as Mando. And I'm like, he could be Grogu. And I'm like, all right, Marvin could sit on that throne. And then I didn't know about Black Crescent being in it. I knew nothing about what the show was going to be about. So
right.
Like Gossamer was Chewie. I'm like, all right, I could do that. And that was the thing. And so when Book of Boba Fett came out, I'm like, oh, I got to do something. Like, totally mash this up. And I kept Bugs. And dude, I kept characters. So Daffy's not in the series, and only because I wasn't sure if Han was in, or I wasn't sure if Leia was in. I wasn't sure who was going to be in.
Right.
So save characters just in case. And you know.
Is that Tweety as Grogu?
Oh yes.
That's so cool.
I've got one where when he's riding the Rancor, when Marvin is riding the Rancor, and then I've got Bugs like coming up over the side, and then little Tweety Grogu is ripping the eyeball sensor out of the robot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that one shipped already, because most of these sold. They were all available through Chuck Jones Gallery, and then they sold them, and yeah, I think that one sold. And
so are these like one-offs?
They're originals. That's it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can't do prints of these because of the license crossover. So, but I can do originals, and there's 15 originals. I think there's only a few left that I've got a stack next to me that has to ship out. But the gallery.
Oh my goodness.
So, do you know who Alex? You know who Alex Ross is?
Yes.
All right. I love that guy. He is an incredibly nice person.
Oh,
and he's been in the studio and hanging out, sketching some stuff. That dude is beyond incredible, right? So he has his Superman like this, and this is my homage to Alex Ross's Superman. Right. Bugs with that carrot, and just that I wanted the look on the face.
Now let me ask you, not that you I believe in being grateful for what we have and where we're at. Not that you're not grateful for what you were doing, but if you were to have the absolute dream, is there anything else that like, oh man, it would be a dream to go work at this studio or to work next to this person?
So I would love to get the
drop that picture, Ezra, or drop the picture, Ezra, so I can see.
I would love to get the Star Wars license. I'm not kidding. Dude, I could all day long, right? Like I love all the Looney Tunes stuff, and I dive into that. Star Wars would be the thing that, like, if I could hang with Doug Chang for a day. Can I just see, I would, oh my goodness. Yeah, I'd probably lose my mind if I got in to ILM, and just to hang with that, and then to be able to do some stuff, some work,
right, like some of the storyboards that they show at the end of like Book of Fett or Mandalorian.
Dude, I've got both art of books from season 1, season 2. I've got the storyboards from the prequels and the original. Yes, my library has a healthy Star Wars initial like art books and everything. Good night.
Right.
That would be it. I'd lose it.
Maybe Dave will be tuning in and we can get you in and surprise. Well, shoot, you made it here unexpectedly, right?
And I loved it. I was when you showed me the helmet and you sent me the picture. I'm like symbiotic spirits. I get this.
Right. See, you can always find at least one other crazy person on the planet. With a planet of 7.5 billion people, you're gonna find one other person that sees the same thing you do.
Yes. And you had sent me that. And what's great about this whole thing, specifically even with the Marvin Fett stuff, because it was just like I loved it. I love the whole thing. Like I get it. The what are they called? The mods. I'm like, okay, fine.
Right.
But I'm waiting to see the thing as a whole. And so like to just I'm living this dream, and these two guys, Favreau and Filoni, who are putting this world together like Feige did with Marvel, in that first 10-year arc on stuff. I'm just like, yes. So this is me just celebrating it all. I'm like, and every time I do something, I buy something else. And I've got helmets out the waz. Let's just do it. I don't know. Like I would wear this to the grocery store.
Right.
I'm having a blast with it. The fact that he gets to create things, and that people find something that they love about it. It's been great.
Right. Well, in that weird sort of way, you kind of have this weird kinship with, say, a Dave Filoni, because on one of our other shows, Saber Rattle, the other night, or I'm not Saber Rattle, on Kyber Cave After Dark. It's a different kind of a show, but we were talking about how, interestingly, like a lot of these people that we looked up to, right? These were the creators, they were the originators. But we, as the first generation who have grown up under them, it's like we're kind of like the babies, you know what I mean? And now we get to step into this sand. Well, I don't get to. You do. You get to step in this sandbox where, as a child, this was, something unimaginable, and now you're there. So we were talking about how it's kind of cool that the fanboys are getting a chance to take over.
Yes. So Kristen puts in there like fan service, and I'm okay with that. Like there's to me, when they're doing these things, like I'm not gonna the sequel trilogy. I love 7, right? I was getting into it, and then 8. Don't get me started on 8. And because just like we don't talk about Bruno, I don't talk about 8, right? But getting into that, where like when I was a kid, do you remember watching when they would put the original trilogy on TV?
Yes.
Like there weren't all these channels. There was like ABC, NBC, CBS, and like WTTW, right?
Right.
And so ABC, whoever would show it, and man, I was glued, right?
Right.
And so I think you're right to grow up in this and be kind of the babies of this. Fan service to me would be if it was just cheap throwouts.
Right.
But none of this is like they're tying in all of these elements and stuff from like all over. And I love the fact that Filoni's tying stuff that he did with Rebels, and Clone Wars and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it feels, which 8 did not feel like to me, it feels like it all plays in the Star Wars universe, and yet they're still telling new and interesting stories. But you're still like, you need something to ground yourself and to make familiar with. Otherwise, it just feels like, a disconnected thing. And I don't feel disconnected. I feel totally connected.
Right.
It seems like you're. I have a feeling if I walked around your house, I'd just find little action figures and stuffed animals all over the place.
Dude, so in my studio, right? This is like my man cave. It's about 4,000 square feet, and I've got this. I've got giant Chewies. We've got like stormtrooper helmets. I've got stuff all up in the front. I've got like the Lego, when you're talking about Lego, dude, I got Lego Mandos, action figures. Let's get it all out there. And then
so it seems like you're pretty partial to the Mandalorian part of the Star Wars galaxy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yes. 3D printing is so. My son and I are doing our own suits. I love I'm partial to more of that original trilogy feel, right? Mm-hmm. And so like prequels, yeah, I can get into the prequels, but like that original trilogy feel is that's what I tie to. I mean, you and I, right? When did we grow up? What are we attaching ourselves to? Just like my oldest son grew up in more of the prequels. So like he attaches, his attachment is that he loves the original trilogy, but it's kind of there. So for me, Mando feels like that original kind of feel, which is probably why I tie more to that than, some other stuff that's come out.
Right. It does. I mean, even from the very first, it had that Western feel. And, obviously Lucas is no stranger to saying that he's borrowed from many different genres, from, the Japanese samurai movies, the World War II dog fights, the Western cowboy spaghetti Western movies. All of those you can see in Star Wars.
Well, and thank you, Ike. I think you would nerd out in here too. I nerd out in here too myself. If you look at Book of Boba Fett, look at how many genres they put into that. Like every episode's a different genre of film, that they're tying in with those things. And I love that. Like it's stuff that these guys loved as they watched, and they are now incorporating it into a new storyline of what they're doing. Right. And I freaking love it, man. And that's that reference of things again, you kind of tie into what did you love as a kid? I'll watch a spaghetti Western. I'll watch a John Wayne movie, right. When Cad Bane comes rolling in from the desert and whatnot, give me some Clint Eastwood, right? So there's so many things about that because the creators like Favreau, Filoni, Lucas had such an affinity for film and storytelling, and I just love storytelling. I just love great stories. I don't care what it is. I just love great stories. So for Star Wars to be telling these great stories in these ways, to me, that's cherry on the two worlds merging. Great storytelling, Star Wars universe. Boom, bang, done. Thank you.
Right. Ezra, pull Kristen's comment up because I agree with her. That was one thing that I did like about that. It feels like every time you have a man and a woman together, somehow they got to be a couple by the end of the show. Like I did appreciate that with Book of Fett, that they just let Fennec be a badass and just let Boba do his thing and work together. They don't necessarily have to be a couple.
No, and I totally agree with you. Like there's something about her, like at the end, and by the way, if you haven't seen the last episode, I'm sorry. This is a spoiler, but you had enough time, right? When she goes through and she does that whole Batman thing where she strings it,
right.
And then just walks out and she's like, I just eliminated the whole lot.
Right.
I got you back. And I'm like, yes. Do I need them to be a couple? No, because there's something interesting in that. That appreciation maybe they have for each other as assassins or whatever. Right. That I'm like, that it's just a relationship. That's awesome.
Right.
Yes, Ike. Yes. Yes.
That's what this is, a community. That's what we try to do. We've only been doing it for a year and a half. Where have you been, Ike? Ike he won our first contest we did, so he was our first Saber winner. So now he's tuning in. Now we caught his attention.
Absolutely.
So now with this with things coming up, I know you've got a lot of work to do with the Jones studio, but what do you see happening for you? We're kind of I think coming out of COVID. I'm not sure. I was told we were, and then maybe not. I don't know. But what do you have coming up within, say, the next year or two?
So what I've found is, I didn't go to school for business. I went to school for art, and then working for other people, great. And then in 2008, when everything tanked, is when I got laid off from a company and started my own thing. So in the next year to year and a half, there's some things that I can't talk about yet. Because there are discussions that have been starting to percolate more. And from a business and art standpoint, are intellectual properties that I would absolutely love to play with and ways to do things. So there's, And
so you're excited about, well, you can't talk about it, but you were excited about what's maybe on the horizon.
Oh, and if I could, I'm terrible at keeping secrets, first of all. But I have to keep these. And so there's stuff with that I'm very much looking forward to see how things come out. And I'm not one to force stuff, and you got to let things happen. You got to watch for opportunities and then take them, if they're appropriate. So there's cool stuff there. And then honestly, with the Chuck Jones folks, I love the relationship I have with those guys, and we're only just starting out is what I feel like. It's just because there's things that are happening with those guys too, and things that have been chatted about, excuse me, and what we're doing, and we're just starting out. So like I call it maybe the tip of the iceberg. But
what about well, okay, so we know you can write, you can draw. What about the voice acting? If they called you in to be a character voice, could you do it? Or create characters?
I would, yeah.
You're like, give it to me all. I want it all.
I will do it. I'm like, face, just let me read. Yeah, voiceover, something that I think the acting thing is something. I have no desire to be an on-screen actor, but like voiceover for film, like I love Mel Blanc. I'm not a Mel Blanc, right? But like you look at guys like that, and like Eric Bauza does some killer stuff now for Looney Tunes, and I find it interesting. So if that opportunity would have come on and take it? yes, that, whatever.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to wrap. Man, 40 minutes goes quick. We're gonna get ready to wrap here in a few minutes, but I had one more kind of a deeper philosophical question, and then I'm gonna let you get to how people can find you and all that fun stuff. But do you think, okay, especially working where you're working now, and in the obviously you were talking about the cartoons that we were watching back in the 70s and when we were kids in the 80s. It seems like you maybe couldn't make those cartoons nowadays. And even a lot of times, like I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that a lot of those classic cartoons have been kind of cut and censored in certain parts of the country so that, it's not the full length of the cartoon. Maybe some of the scenes have been omitted for whatever reason. First off, do you see that shift? Am I, out of line, or is that true? Are the cartoons they had back then things that you couldn't make now?
I think you're far more on the right track and correct thinking of that. I don't think they necessarily could, which is why they have the censor things and they do whatever. And for the only reason of, and you want to get philosophical on it, like I am not a cancel culture person, right? Period. That it's a dangerous, slippery slope to get into because I guarantee you in a year, someone else is going to cancel whatever the cancel person just canceled now because they're going to get offended by whatever. Look, man, get over it, right? Yeah. We are not the most important people individually. Like if I'm looking at myself as the most important person ever and I'm going to get offended by everything, man, life is going to suck for me. Right. There are certain things in context. Like I appreciate context, right? And I can look back at things in history because people will look at things now 15 years from now and they will find stuff that they're like, how on earth did they do that? Right. So to get into that, it's erasing things and like, oh, we got to whitewash that and do it. No, you got to let it be what it is. And if you want to put like hey, here's the context of what this is in the beginning, fine. Like Disney does that on some of their films and stuff now. I'm like, whatever, fine. Just don't edit it. Let it play, and so, I know there's a people are finding whatever they want to, and maybe they have too much time in their hands. I don't know, but like, get off it. Like, stop being so offended by everything that you see and that you hear, because it's just an opinion. It's just one opinion. Right. And so, and then just let it fly. So I think you're right in one sense, because I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan. Huge.
Right. Yes.
Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs,
History of the World.
Yes. Young Frankenstein, all that stuff. And could that stuff get made now? The only reason I don't think these cartoons would get made now is I don't necessarily think it would be because of the audience, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's because of these studios who will capitulate. And that's why. And I mean, because if you look at stuff that's gotten canceled from, that people are getting all up in arms about from, in the 50s and 60s. You ever watch Family Guy? You ever watch some of these other, right? And I'm like, I don't care. You want to watch Family Guy? Watch Family Guy. My point being, there is stuff in all of these things. And if you're going to get mad at this, then you better get mad at the whole thing. And guess what? You're going to get mad at a lot. So,
right. You're just going to stay mad.
Right. Laugh.
Right.
It
we were talking about that on another show as well, as why is it that South Park can get away with these jokes, or, Rick and Morty, but other shows necessarily can't. And I think the answer we came up with is because those shows tend to be equal opportunity offenders. They offend everybody equally.
and it may be like that's like that, and it's fine. Like even if you don't like it, turn it off. Like
right.
There's so much out there. Like just change the channel or don't read the whatever. Like the whole point is you have the choice on the stuff. And we get into very dangerous situations. And I speak to this on art and humor, right? So comedy and art with are both subjective. And so if we start putting these things where we're like canceling, like look at freaking Dave Chappelle and everything else, right? If we start doing that with these and we silence all this stuff because you can't say this or else somebody might get offended, we're missing what art, comedy, and that stuff is. It is supposed to prod. It is supposed to open things up. There is humor in things. There also is things that are a little controversial and stuff like that's art. That's comedy. That's how this stuff works. Right. So just get it. Oh yeah, Ike. Why so serious? I agree. So yeah, I keep pushing for this stuff because I'm like just enjoy it. Or if you don't enjoy it, turn it off.
Right. Well, now let me ask you this: how you feel about this? Like, so we were talking about in this episode specifically. I'm a huge John Hughes fan. Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles. But we were talking about how some of those scenes, like there's the scene in Breakfast Club where John Bender goes down under the table and puts his head between her legs without consent. That we can look back and say, do we look back and say, oh, we shouldn't show this movie because that's not how we should act. You had Farmer Ted. Do you remember the whole 16 Candles where the whole thing was to go get the woman's underwear or whatever? So these type of things, even though that may be how the culture was then, do you feel like we're perpetuating these things? When we were talking about the cartoons, one of the things I had heard about with like the editing was like some of the scenes where, back in the 50s, you might had a kitty cat that was smoking a cigarette or something like that. And so some of these channels want to edit out the little shot of the cat smoking the cigarette because they don't want to influence children, to smoke a cigarette. What do you think about that?
No, don't edit it. Like leave it as it is. There's and here's the thing, right? You get into like this, that was the culture then, right? So if you can understand that, like, dude, we're adults, right? We can think. Critical thinking is something that I think is paramount. Like, just think, and like for me, I've got 4 kids. It is my job as a parent to, like, if my kids are seeing that stuff and they have a question about it, so like, nah, dude, we're not doing the smoking thinking. Here's why, right? Or whatever. Or you watch a movie like 16. Yeah, we don't do that, right? And so it's my job. Now, would I expose my like 10-year-old to that film right now? If there's no, like let them go. Like I don't show my kids Mel Brooks films until they're like late teens, right? And that may seem like odd to some people, but like you need to be ready at a certain point, when you're older to get that kind of stuff. It's my job as a parent to parent, right? And if I think that I'm like or I can give context and I can allow that critical thinking to start, then great. So that's kind of where I'm at with all of those things. And, like we just can think about it and we can let it go. Like there was a whole thing on Pepe Le Pew. They tried canceling Pepe Le Pew.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what the dumb thing is on a lot of this cancel stuff? People don't bother, the ones that are canceling, they don't bother to look into history. They don't bother to look into context. They don't bother any of that. They just get offended at something and they're like, we're going to go cancel this. And then they go right after the person or the thing. And there is so little behind it other than I just feel offended. Okay, well, I understand you have an emotion on this, but like give me the rationale.
Right.
And almost all of the time for what I've seen, they don't have it. So you get into a Pepe Le Pew thing and like, do you know what the background of that is? And do you know why he's doing that? It has nothing to do with non-consensual, whatever, like predatory, nothing. Has nothing to do with that. But if you spend the time to understand why Chuck created the character and what the writing behind it was, who they modeled after and stuff like that, it's like, okay. And that, again, that's where like, I think more people, as we have these conversations, we don't always have to agree. And I'm okay with that. I don't have to agree with everybody. That doesn't mean I don't like them. Doesn't mean I can't get along with them because we don't agree on something. I can respect the fact that somebody else has another opinion. And all I ask in return is somebody respect the fact that I have mine, because I'm not, we're not trying to harm each other with that.
Right. Correct. Man, what a great way. Woo! Man, this has been so much fun. I can sit with you for another 5 hours and just talk about you. Why don't you tell people if they're interested in finding out more about you, or I don't know if you like people to contact you, or if they wanted to purchase your artwork or something like that. How would they find out? How would they find more of your work?
So, and thank you.
Besides the stuff that just popped up. I love my director. Thank you, Ezra.
So, anything that I do Looney Tunes wise, Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera, I that all goes to the Chuck Jones galleries, which is the chuckjonescatalog.com. A lot of the sketches like this stuff,
Right.
You won't see on the main side of things, but anything that with Marvin, anything, even if I'm doing mashup stuff, that all goes through the gallery. So if you contact them on there and you're like, hey, I'm interested in this piece,
Can you just like search Ben Olson, or do you have to?
In the catalog, on their catalog site, there's new releases, and they go by alphabetical order. So my name's right at the top because they go by like first name, and I'm like B. Read down, we're good. So there's lots of stuff on chuckjonescatalog.com. If you see stuff on my Instagram, which is the Ben Olson _art, and it's Looney Tunes related, I have it on my site, which is benolson-art.com. There's ways to get a hold of Chuck Jones Gallery. All of the work I do, for the most part, gets put on my site, and that has ways to contact the gallery for their stuff. Or I have my own like sketches and paintings of my own things that's not Looney Tunes Hanna-Barbera related, and those are originals that can be purchased there too.
Right. And do you do do you do like commissions at all, or are you do commissions?
Mm-hmm.
So people can contact you and say, I'd love to have this type of painting made, or
yeah. So on my site, like I've got an email address on the site. I get requests through Instagram, Messenger, that kind of stuff. People to reach out in whatever form they have that they that I'm on, which is Instagram, Facebook, website, all that stuff.
I agree with Ike. This has been a genuine pleasure, and I've had so much fun talking to you tonight, Ben. Ben, thank you for being on with us out there in Illinois. I know you're staying up late to hang out with us.
Hey, dude, this was my pleasure, and it actually works perfect for the time of day because everybody's down, everybody's in bed, and I just get to hang out. I get to hang out and nerd out with you guys, so we're good.
Woo-hoo. You're gonna have to throw some Disney Plus on after this.
It's gonna be I'm gonna get that Boba Fett soundtrack going and just rock that. First 3 episodes.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Hopefully you get in the drawing for next week, and maybe you can win that Lego Saber.
Dude, my son texted me and he was like, Dad, the Lego Saber. I'm like, I'm already on it. I'm gonna go.
How old is this son?
He is 17. He's about to turn 18 in like a month and a half.
Because this thing is like literally like a barbell, dude. This thing is heavy.
He's give you an idea. Like I'm 6'4", 230. He's like 6'1", 230. So
wow.
He's got some heft to him. He can handle that stuff.
Well, Ben, thanks again for being on. What were you going to say, Ezra?
I was going to say I'm going to be contacting you about painting. Those are beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. You have a beautiful night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Woohoo! That was so cool, dude.
That was amazing.
You know what's funny is like sometimes I like book these guests and I specifically try in a lot of cases not to do too much homework because I like to be surprised along with the audience. I had no idea he worked for Chuck Jones. Dude, that is like I just thought we were both Marvin fans. Yeah, is there some of the other work we didn't get to see?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Do a quick
look at that, dude. That looks like a cell animation or an animation cell to me.
Yes.
It's
like that looks like it was actually in the show.
In a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Wow, look at those colors. Beautiful. Absolutely amazing. Could you imagine that, dude? That would be just like if like George Lucas tapped us to go work for on a movie, Ezra.
Oh man, could you imagine?
William, thank you so much. We had an extremely fun interview as well. And yeah, we should check up on Ben in the future. All right. As we are a little bit over, let's get directly into our next segment. The California Comic-Con Adventures with Kevin. Right?
Yes, you finally got it. Only because I said it like an hour ago.
Ike says that he has his dream job. Yeah, message him, Ike, man. He was absolutely fantastic. Could you imagine him doing art on a saber? Ooh, how dope would that be? Like an exclusive.
Could you imagine?
We gotta figure that out, dude. All right, I gotta contact Ben.
Getting this saber with a Marvin the Martian on it.
Ooh, we'll have to figure out an exclusive saber and do something with him, and then make it like a super special drawing or something.
And this is the giveaway saber, by the way. So we will learn who wins this.
Someone is winning that tonight.
Yes, after Comic-Con Adventures. Let's roll it.
And that was Indiana Jones there, our man Fat Boy Cosplay representing at East Bay Comic-Con. Hey there everyone, thanks for joining us. This is Kevin Hogan here in Benicia, California with another edition of California Comic-Con Adventures. This was an event a couple weeks back on February the 6th, 2022. This was the East Bay Comic-Con at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Concord, California. This event every year has free parking. You should definitely check out when it comes by, right next to the Concord Airport. Usually there are other events that use the same hotel you've probably been to. Ohana Comic-Con, Concord comes there. Also the Mouse Con comes there every year as well. It's really fun. There's lots of fun furries walking around. I myself went there as Cat Loki walking around there, as you can see. Lots of neat characters from Squid Game, Indiana Jones, lots of fun Star Wars characters. And there's certainly some celebrities to check out as well. This time, you may remember Doug Jones, the actor from the movies Hellboy 1 and 2 as Abe Sapien was there. He was also the creature from The Shape of Water. He was also the Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. He was also the Pale Man in Pan's Labyrinth. There was also actors signing their work there, like the artist Charles Vest there. He did work on Sandman, Stardust, Heavy Metal Magazine, and the Raven Banner. There was also comic book artist Larry Hama. Did work on G.I. Joe, Bucky O'Hare, Wolverine, Nth Man, The Ultimate Ninja, and Elektra. And also artist Billy Tan was there. He did work on Uncanny X-Men, Green Lantern, New Avengers, Tomb Raider, Marvel Knights, Spider-Man, and X-23. So it was really fun seeing all these different artists and also all the people selling different props, all the very creative cosplayers. And you guys should definitely check out, support your local Comic-Cons when they come to town. And thanks for joining us, and I hope you guys enjoy the picks and have a great time. See you at your next Comic-Con.
Wow, dude, that I want to cry, dude. That segment was so good. It was edited so good. The music's, the photos, that was like exactly how I wanted to see the segment ever since we started. Thank you. We are very fortunate. Thank you, Mr. Kevin Hogan, our producer for California Comic-Con Adventures with Kevin. Every week he is at thank you. Every week he is at a different con, and he takes tons of pictures, and everybody loves Kevin. So, and we love having him on. Red Wolf, what's up? Thank you for tuning in. So for everyone,
what's up, Will?
Who's that? Is that Will?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Will? I didn't know that was. I haven't seen Will in forever. For everybody that is tuning in, we have a saber. That is the last thing we have to do. And then we have our talks of the town. We are giving away a saber tonight. For everybody that wants to win the Emmett saber, the Lego saber this week, this show, you are going to make a comment over here somewhere in the comment board. You are going to like the show, and you are going to repost the show somewhere on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever else. then you need to screenshot that you reposted and send that screenshot as a direct message to Kyber Cave Productions or Kyber Cave, but we prefer Kyber Cave Productions.
Yes.
You must also subscribe either here or Twitch, and keep in mind the more accounts you have, the more
entries you get
every week. Like I said, Michaela's got at least 3 entries this week.
Yes, I know. I think Phoenix has like 4.
What? Wow. We'll have to go check that list. And you got William on there now?
Yes, I have William Crimble. I put Ike on there, and Brittany did it.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay, so I think we should get into this drawing. Let's see who won this talent. Remember, if you did not win, you can always purchase our website. Hey, Steve, what is going on, Daddy-O? You can always purchase these on our website at kybercave.com. Good luck to everybody. And roll that wheel. Remember, if you win once, you cannot win another saber for 3 months. You get a secondary prize, like a t-shirt or chopsticks or something like that. Oh, snaps. Dude.
Michaela.
Ike is a psychic. I knew it was going to be Michaela. Wow. Woohoo, Michaela. Show her saber. You win. This is your pretty saber, Michaela. It has 11 colors, at least 7 to 9 sound fonts. It's rechargeable, flash on crash, blaster noises, mutes, a smooth swing, all kinds of cool stuff. That is yours, and Ezra is going to contact you, or you can contact us. We need to get shipping information, and everybody is responsible for claiming their own saber. So if you're local, you can either pick it up at our storefront, or we can mail it out to you, but you do have to pay for shipping and handling. But hell, $20 for a $170 saber, I think that's a good trade.
Yeah. I think it's a very good trade.
All right, y'all. Before we go, like I said, do not forget this. This is the saber we are giving out this week. So subscribe to us on Twitch or YouTube. Comment, like, share, and screenshot. And this could be yours.
Screenshot and send to us.
And again, as always, we want to thank TXQ for allowing us to give these to you. Tonight was such a fun show, wasn't it, Ezra?
Tonight was amazing. I have to talk to you after about something, but good thing. Very good thing.
Yoda Zen said, just got back on the internet. Were there any other spins? I logged in and saw my name. Yeah, you were on there, but you did not win tonight. Miss Michaela Cash was our grand winner tonight. But don't worry, Yoda Zen, you could win next week or the week after Relatively, how many people actually got in the drawing this week, Ezra?
Oh, I didn't keep it.
There was less than probably, I know there was less than 20. I think it was maybe somewhere around the neighborhood of 10 or so.
Do you want to know how many entries or how many people?
How many people entered?
Okay, I think 1, 2.
Yeah, Michaela, you can just contact the Kyber Cave page. You can contact Ezra. You can contact me. We'll give you if you just DM the Kyber Cave page or Kyber Cave Productions.
7 people entered, but there was 15 entries.
See, 15 entries, only 7 people entered. So honestly, guys, you guys really have excellent odds right now, especially that our viewership isn't quite as big as that we'd like it to be. Please make sure to tell all your friends. We really are trying to grow this channel so that we can all share the love together, and we can all have our little community, just like we've been trying to do. For
you know what? Congrats to Michaela for having her first real saber that's not plastic.
Ooh, did she talk to you about that?
No, she just said it in the chat. This is my first. This is my first ever lightsaber that isn't cheap plastic.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that in the thing. Yay! Yes, these are definitely not cheap plastics. This is made out of aircraft grade aluminum. The blade is the same material that they make the police riot shields out of. So you can get hurt with these, Miss Michaela.
Yes,
They're good
you
for
be careful.
muggers.
Yes.
And that one's got spikes on it too.
Yes, this one has spikes on it. These will hurt. You can stab a son of a with it.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's about it. Let's go ahead and we are going to end with, as we do with our talks of the town. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Make sure you do all those things. We love giving you a Saber every week. Yeah, just contact the Kyber K production page and we'll get you taken care of.
Yes. Steve, I did not have you on the spin. Screenshot and send me the repost that you did and with the date on it, and I will put you in for 2 entries next week.
Right. If we messed up, we put you in for 2 the week after.
Yes.
But that's why we're doing the screenshot now, because it makes it easier. Mike White, thank you for a fun night. I thank you for tuning in. I know you were out there in Minnesota. Yeah, I've gotten bruised before. Yes, you have. You've been at Kyber Cave. You've been in my shop, so I know you
have broken my thumb. What do you mean you've gotten bruised?
All right, y'all. All right. Thank you. Don't forget to tune in this Friday at 9 p.m. This is a show for 13 and over. This is Kyber Cave After Dark every Friday at 9 p.m. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. is Kyber Cave Presents Saber Rattle. This is our family show. Our Friday show is not our family show.
No.
But tune in anyways.
Do not have your little 4-year-old watch Kyber Cave After Dark. We are
They might need therapy after.
All
right, y'all. We love you. Peace. Give us those
Bye,
talks of the town, Ezra.
Be advised, your teammate got their arse. Your teammate got their arse. Be advised, your teammate got their arse. Your teammate got their arse. Be advised.
I have come home, Master.
Say to my son, how does Darth Vader like his steak cooked?
He doesn't care as long as it's not lukewarm and chewy. Listen, did you know that when Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, he was just 22 years old? And that means he died at age 45? Now you do.